Hi, Karen Leon here from 50 is the New 50 blog. And I thought I would come on and do a live and share some of the tips I've learned with my mature skin on how to use my 3D foundation. Just some tips and hints. I thought let's put some makeup on and show and share some tips I've learned in the 3 years I've been using this foundation. So welcome. If you're just now joining, make sure you say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. And let's just jump right in. The first thing I want to talk about is what I'm using. If you are brand new and you don't know what this makeup is, you just happen to come across my page today and thought this title, Mature Skin Makeup Tips, was interesting. This is actually a cream highlight and contour foundation. It's all in one palette. They're all custom matched to you by an artist like myself. So we help you determine what shades are going to work best for your skin, especially if you have mature skin like me. I'm 55. I'm going to be 56 here in another month or two. And you can get cream lip and cheek colors, eyeshadows, all sorts of fun stuff, all in one palette. Makes it really easy, really convenient. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about while I get started here is mature skin. And mature skin isn't necessarily determined by our age. Just because you may think of yourself as a mature woman doesn't necessarily mean that your skin is in a mature state. There's women who have absolutely gorgeous skin in their 60s and in their 70s. Mature skin is really also going to depend on the condition of your skin. So sun damage, hyperpigmentation, melasma, right? So sunspots, age spots, texture, all right? I think texture is a really nice word. We're really talking about large pores, wrinkles, areas that are very thinned out, so we get a lot of that texture and fold in our skin. So, that could really be determined as mature skin. So I wanted to share some tips with you as someone who has mature skin, because I have a lot of those issues and you may as well. So the first thing I want to talk to you about while I'm putting my contour on is making sure that you have a highlight or foundation shades that are dark enough for your skin tone, okay? So when I color match my clients, I always color match you to 3 foundation or highlight shades and a contour shade. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm not necessarily gonna talk too much about contouring. I have lots of contour videos on here where you can see, but basically this is a cream contour. I will match you to a contour, and I want you to realize that when you get color matched, do not be afraid of the dark colors that you're matched to. One, they look so much darker in the tin, then they're going to blend out on your skin. Two, on a computer screen, things always look so much darker. So you know that when you go and you pick up a bottle of makeup, you think it's gonna be dark enough or you think it's gonna be light enough, and it's just not quite what you thought until you get it on your skin and see how it looks. So I want you to keep that in mind, that one of my biggest tips is making sure that you are color matched to at least 2 foundation shades, if not 3. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why having 3 foundation shades really is a game changer if you have mature skin. All right, so the first foundation shade, or highlights is what we call them. This one here is what I like to call a color corrector or camouflage shade. This shade is usually a shade that's a bit warmer, and it's going to counteract or color correct areas on your face where you need to change or add color to filter out or camouflage, like this sunspot here. I'm tapping and pressing on some of this color over the sunspot. I'm gonna let the warmth of my finger just kind of really blend that on. I put a little bit too much on. That's the other thing we're gonna talk about. So if you have under eye discoloration, melasma, hyperpigmentation, like I have a lot of melasma, a lot of us as we get older, we start to see a lot more color on our skin, and not necessarily the color that we want, right? So color as in a lot of pigmentation, a lot of freckling, a lot of large sunspots, liver spots, age spots, that kind of thing. Broken capillaries, okay? So that's a area here where I'm gonna tap on this color corrector shade And again, it's just a shade that's going to give me a little extra coverage, and it's going to help even out areas on my face where I need that extra coverage. Okay, so having the option to have more than one foundation shade, just one bottle, one shade of color, really is a game changer, because no matter what's going on with your skin, you're always going to have a shade that's going to work, right? Okay, so the next shade is a main shade, so a foundation or highlight shade that is going to match your skin tone as close as the darkest areas on your face, and if not, even a little bit darker. And I think that's hard for us to understand. If you're seeing texture with your makeup, okay, if your makeup, when you put it on, even if it's liquid makeup or a powder makeup, and you're seeing texture as in the areas on your face where you have texture, like here, 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 okay, and you're starting to see that when you apply your makeup, those areas are more pronounced, or they look chalky, or they look a little bit more textury. That's a sign that the shade that you're using is probably too light for your skin at this point. So trusting and going a shade darker than what you think might work for you, you're probably going to be really excited and happy when you see, by going a little bit darker, how much you like it and how much better your skin looks by going a little bit darker, a little bit warmer than what you might usually have been using in the past. So one of the other keys I want to talk about is not swiping cream makeup on when you are more mature or have mature skin, but actually pressing or stippling. This is key. I like to just do it right from the get-go. I don't swipe my brushes into my cream makeup. I actually just pounce and stipple it right in. Then when I go onto my face, I'm doing the same motion. I'm pouncing and I'm stippling. So tap, tap, and then coming in and pressing and stippling that makeup on. The other nice thing is when you are applying the makeup this way, instead of swiping it on or tapping it on or dotting it on, you're seeing in true time how much makeup you have on your face and if you need any more, and you're doing less, right? So less with cream makeup, especially if you're a bit older, is really best. I'm not saying you can't have full coverage with cream makeup. You sure can, but having a little bit less makeup on your face than what you think, you're going to be surprised as well. So kind of tapping and blending this on as you go is really key. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm taking this brush, I'm tapping in, and then I'm tapping or pressing that makeup onto my face. Now, get to a certain point where you think you've got it enough on where you want it. We'll do a final blending here in a little bit, but right now I'm just tapping some of that on. Third highlight shade that I want to talk about with mature skin is, you may call this a concealer shade, the one that looks really light, and a lot of us are so used to in the past putting really bright concealer right underneath our eye, like taking a really light shade and putting it right there. A tip I have learned is that going a shade too light underneath your eye or anywhere on your face where you have texture, inside eye, outside on your lids, around your mouth, around your nose, using a shade that's way too light in these areas is just, again, going to emphasize. So using a brightener or a pop shade, instead of thinking of it as a concealer, but thinking of it as a little bit of a pop or a brightness to brighten the center of your face, think of it that way instead of thinking of it as a layer of concealer that you're going to use on your face. And not everybody needs to add a brightener. If you're seeing a lot of texture in this area, like, don't put brightener around that area. Try to avoid doing that so that you don't pull forward or emphasize those parts of your face that you don't want, right? So if you want some brightness in the center of your face, you sure can get that just by framing the outside of your face with contour and then pulling in just a little bit of brightness on the inside of your eye with a highlight shade that's not too bright for your skin tone. So that's one of my tips, is to make sure that you're using shades that are dark enough for your skin, not too bright to emphasize texture, and that you try to get 3 highlight shades so that no matter what's going on with your face, you always have a foundation shade that you can use on your face that's going to work the best. Okay, so we talked about making sure that we have the right shades for our face, right? Getting color matched. Framing your face with your contour is going to add some darkness and a shadow and give your face some structure, so that already the center of your face is going to be much brighter and pulled forward and a little bit more glowy. And then making sure that you press your makeup in and not do the swiping action. Pressing it in is really going to make sure, again, that you get the right amount of makeup on, that it's not going to be too heavy, and it's not going to really get into your fine lines or your wrinkles or your texture, and you're not going to see that. That's not what we want. So on the same thing, pressing or tapping your makeup in, it's important to also use a Perfector sponge. And this is basically a elevated beauty blender. It's the perfect beauty blender. I just love it. It's our Perfector sponge. It's only $14. You want to use a beauty blender or a sponge like this with cream makeup. You need to use it damp, not wet and not dry. So it should not be soaking wet and it should not be completely dry. It needs to be damp, meaning you get it prepped, you wring out all the water, you even put it in a little towel, let it air dry for a little bit. And now you're going to use that pressing a little bit more. Go ahead and take a look at your face and decide, where am I seeing some texture? Sometimes I'll hear from some gals like, oh my gosh, I put the makeup on and then I can't get it to blend around my eyes. It looks chalky, or it looks, I don't like it. All my wrinkles are showing. Okay, grab your Perfector sponge and I want you to go in and I want you to lightly tap and I want you to press so that you're lifting any excess makeup out. And then I want you to stop and ask yourself, what color did I just put in those areas that I'm seeing that texture? Did I put a really super light shade that was way too light? Okay, should I try one of my mid-tone shades or a darker shade in those areas? Should I use a little bit less? Those are the things you need to ask yourself as you're learning how to use a new way of doing makeup. And this is really all it is. It's just a little bit different, and it's just a different way of doing it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is, let's see, what was my other tips? Okay, adding color to your face. That's really important. So we know that we are gaining color that we don't want, right? Sunspots, age spots, melasma, things like that we want to try to color correct or conceal. But then we tend to lose pigment in our lips. Our brows tend to get lighter or gray. And we start to lose a little bit of that color in our face when we want to have some vibrancy in our color to our face. So one of the biggest tips you can do that I really think makes all the difference in the world is to shade in and fill in your brows. I like to fill my brows in. A lot of times I'll just use my contour shade. It's a cream contour. It almost works like a pomade. And I'll just fill my brows in with a nice brush. This brush here is great. It's called the line brush. It's got a nice little angle. Has that cute little spoolie on the end. You can use brow wax or not, but just adding color to your brows is going to also frame your face and really add some vibrancy to the center of your face. The next thing we want to do is you definitely need to use blush. Don't not use blush. Please make sure you use blush. And don't be afraid of color. These are really fun colors. This color here is called Venice, and this one's called Madrid. This is kind of like a really fun corally, pinkish coral. Look how fun that is. It's a glossy shade, so it's gonna be a little bit more of like a stain or a little bit more translucent when you put it on. You can use shades like this one's called Madrid. This one's a little bit more matte. Gives you a little bit more of a pigmented look. So make sure that you put that on your lips, color on your cheeks. You can even mix your blush together. Okay, so I'm just tapping that on. I'm gonna grab a brush here and I'm just going to, again, remember we talked about not doing the swiping thing? Get in the habit of pressing and stippling your makeup on. I really want you to try that. If you have mature skin and you're using this 3D makeup and you've been having some trouble with it, get in the habit of pressing or stippling. It really makes a big difference on how the makeup sits on your skin, how you can blend it in. and make sure you add color, okay? So let's add some color to our eyes as well, right? So use a little bit of mascara to darken up your lashes and to really give your eyes a bit of vibrancy. We have gorgeous powder eyeshadows that are very pigmented, really nice. So let's just grab a little. Let's put just a nice neutral shade right on our lid, just to add a bit of color. Really simple. And then let's pick a complementary pop shade. This one here is called Leo, I think. What is this called? I know I wrote it down somewhere. Now I can't remember. Ah, Leo. Is that a pretty orange color? Let's just put a little bit of that kind of as an accent shade. Just for fun. Okay. I'm not going to get too much into applying eyeshadow, but I just want you to see that when you add some color to your eyes, to your cheeks, to your lips, to your brows, what a difference that makes, right? And using the right shades. So let's just kind of go over our tips. And if you have any questions for me, I'd love for you to stay here and ask. I can answer any of them. If you have any troubleshooting issues or things that are going on with your cream makeup that you need some help with, don't forget also to set your makeup when you're all done with your setting spray. Just spritz some on, or you can tap it onto a brush or to your sponge and just apply it all over. But make sure that you set your makeup when you're done. Hi, Janine. Thank you. Yeah, I love this Venice. I love the pop of color. And you can layer your lip and cheek colors like this coral over this pretty kind of pinkish Madrid color. So just adding some color to your face is really, really important. Okay. So I'm just going to go over really quick one more time some of those, my 5 tips that I really think are important. So first, make sure that the shades you are using are not too light for your skin tone. I think it's just so easy for us to assume that a shade is going to be too dark. Even the contours, I mean, this looks dark, right? Can you even tell that I have it on up there? Very subtle. It's just a little bit of a shadow. It's not that dark. Cream makeup blends out beautifully. So make sure that you get shades that work for you. Make sure you get 3 highlight shades so that you always have the right color to work, to color correct, to conceal, for foundation, for coverage, for brightening. Make sure you get 3 highlight shades matched to you, so that works great. Add color. Make sure you add color to your brows, to your eyes, lips, and cheek. Make sure you do that because it's really important to add some color to your face. It really makes just makes your face glow. Putting a little bit of color on your eyes makes your eyes pop and pull them forward. Make sure that you try using less. Less is more with this makeup. It's buildable. So if you find that you're seeing texture or things that are a little bit too, I don't know, getting into your wrinkles or your fine lines, or you feel like, gosh, that just doesn't look right, then grab your Perfector sponge and remember you can press over to lift any makeup that you think you got a little too heavy, okay? Use your brush to stipple makeup on, press it in, try not to swipe. And I think that was it. I don't know if those were 5 or not, but I think it was a combination of 5 tips. I just wanted to come on, do my makeup really quick. I have a class to teach here in a few minutes, but I thought I would share that with you. And if you have questions and you want to, yeah, it's amazing makeup for mature skin. And again, I want you to remember that just because I'm saying the word mature skin, it's not necessarily dependent on age, okay? You could be 30 years old and have mature skin, as in a lot of sun damage, a lot of pigmentation, a lot of melasma, things like that, that qualify as like, you know, just skin that's aging a little bit quicker than we want. That's okay. You could have 60, 70-year-old gorgeous, beautiful skin that's not showing aging because you have stayed out of the sun since you were, you know, a young girl. You always wore a hat, you always wore sunscreen, or just genetics. So just remember that it doesn't matter if we're calling it mature skin or not. These are just some great tips that you can use with your cream makeup. And I do really think that if you're over 40, 50, 60, cream makeup is the way to go. If you haven't tried it yet, give it a try. Message me for a color match. I think I put the link right here in the description. And let me get you started with some 3D foundation. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you next time. Have a great day.